Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Clue the motherfucking Don, with another episode of Black Wild Music Podcast. And of course, I'm here with another artist interview, as y'all been seeing me promote. I'm here with the talented NishaDaChef coming from New York City. Go ahead, I actually just gave you the introduction, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, it's your girl Nisha the Chef. You know the vibes. You can follow me on Instagram at Nisha the Chef underscore. That's NISHADA Chef underscore.
Word. Okay. And I really appreciate you coming on to the show, first and foremost.
Thank you.
Um, and with that being said, there was actually a question I meant to send you, but it's usually the question that I actually ask all the artists when they first come on to the show. But what was the first song that you listened to when you woke up this morning?
I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Um, it was Bust by Rico Nasty.
Okay. Is that usually something that you listen to, or is that kind of like that was just what happened this morning?
That's just what happened.
Got you. All right. Word. Okay, so we go ahead and slide into the questions. So yeah, the first question that I have for you was when did you know, or what was that moment that you realized like, all right, music is my thing. I wanna try this music thing out. What was that moment for you?
Well, the first song that got me into hip hop was Juicy by Biggie Smalls, and I was writing poetry before that. So I kind of like realized poetry, rap is the same thing. So I started writing music after that.
Okay. All right. So I mean, what was I know you so you mentioned Juicy by Biggie. I mean, was there any earlier musical moments that you can kind of remember that, maybe even outside of hip hop that just, really were really defining for you?
Well, it didn't inspire me to make music. Like that was the song that inspired me to like turn my poetry into music.
Got you. Okay. And would your poetry was it kind of like was it similar to your music now? Was it a little different, or are you just pretty much making your poetries in the raps?
Something like that. It started off like I was doing like metaphorical kind of poetry.
Yeah.
So basically somebody were to find my diary, I guess, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about right off the bat. But yeah, it's basically like a diary, I would say.
Do you? I mean, so is that kind of like your goal when you're writing your tracks? Like you want to make it so you can't like there's no opportunity for you to listen to it once and understand what's happening. You want people to have to listen to it over and over again.
Facts.
For sure. Okay, I like that. All right. So I mean, so that kind of rolls me into my next question. So like, what's your process when it comes to actually making your songs, or when you're starting your song? Do you start with the beat first? Do you start with the concept? Do you just scribble stuff all over the paper? I know there's a lot of different ways that it can go down.
I definitely start with the beat first. If it's a beat that I made, it would take me a little while at first, like get the flow after I make the beat, and then the lyrics come after that. But if it's somebody else's beat, like if I'm working with a producer, it's kind of the same thing, but after the beat, it's always the flow.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking of other people's beat, I heard you. I can't remember the cat's name because honestly, like, I thought the song was irritating as hell, but it was all over TikTok. But when I heard you on the beat, I was like, yo, I actually like this. I think it was called your song Top Tier.
Top tier. Oh, the Beatbox challenge.
Yes.
That's
Man, I was like, I did not like that. Like that, I did not like that song, and I was tired of hearing it. But honestly, like I've been here, I heard you spit on it. And I heard a few other artists, but yeah, you were definitely one of my favorite. And one thing that I've realized about a lot of your music, and I just got to call it facts. Like I feel like, and this is of course me on the outside looking in, probably a lot of pressure for being a female MC and not trying to like be on that bibbity bop, kind of Barbie kind of shit, in my mind. So it's like, I mean, so I won't let you know, I won't speak for you, but like, do you feel any pressures from that, or do you realize that this is your lane and fuck it?
yeah, that's how I think about it. It's just like fuck it, music is music, no matter if you're a male or female. But there is differences for females. Like people expect something else, like when it comes to like, I guess selling sex or whatever. But for me, it's just like it's music.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, you still find a way to do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that your one track, Lust, that was the main track. That was one of the first tracks. Actually, I think that was the first song that I heard of yours. And I feel like, it was, in a way of, selling sex, but it was just, it was hip hop. I mean, it was the essence of what, hip hop with a little bit of singing, what I'm saying, going on in there. Um, like, and it was interesting something that you mentioned about making your beats. Not being a producer myself, I would think that, like if you made the beat, it would be easier to write to your songs first. But you say that when you make it, it's sometimes harder to put your own words to your songs.
it depends. Like if I'm feeling the flow and the flow comes right away, then the lyrics come right after that. But if it's somebody else's beat, if I'm working with a producer and the beat is fire, then everything just flows right away.
Got you. Okay, okay. Um, so since you've been in the game, um, which I'm not sure exactly how long you've been in the game, but I know one of the first tracks that I saw, I guess you promoting like earlier back on was Dreams, and which I like that track too. But
Thank you.
since you've been in the game, since you've been going to, hopefully, affected or not affected by, the pandemic, when you go to these different events and you're interacting with different artists, like, is it love? Like, do you feel like, is the hip hop game welcoming to new artists? Is essentially what I'm asking.
I think so. I feel like the game has changed a lot since like technology is involved. So basically, it's easier to be independent than being signed, if that makes sense.
Oh no, it makes complete sense for sure. So you do you is that like your goal to continue to be an independent artist, or are you just waiting until the right opportunity for you?
I would love to continue being independent because, like, the future goal is to have my own record label.
Yeah,
But if I were to get signed, you have to have kind of an incentive too. So if I were to get signed, they gotta come correct.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I think that's something that I think is definitely changed between, like, the how it was back in the days to nowadays, especially with just, the different generations and more technology. People can look up stuff. You don't really have too many opportunities to be ignorant about things these days unless you want to be. So I feel like, when it comes to contracts and shit like that, yeah, get your shit together or come correct, or I'm gonna know it's not correct. I'm gonna have somebody check my shit for me. So
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. It was something I had something leading into that one. Yeah. So you mentioned and I understand I'm jumping all over the place. So if I talk about something that you don't want to talk about, just be like, shut up. No, I'll keep going. But so you mentioned wanting to start that big goal of wanting to start the record label, which I think is beautiful. What kind of inspirations do you see or have you had in the game as far as like those moguls, um, in the industry? Like who are they, if any, and like how did they inspire you?
I haven't really looked up to anybody in the game. If I'm being honest, it's just that what I've seen and learned. So basically, people would see the artist as the main figure, but they don't know like the what happens behind the scenes with the engineer, the producer, etc., which they don't really get a lot of credit, but they get the most money. So I feel like I could do that too. It depends on how you play your cards, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, out of all those positions, whether you're talking about the artist, the producer, the engineer, the A&R, the CEO, all those different positions, what position do you see yourself wanting to play the most? Because I put it into comparison with like J. Cole, for instance.
Okay.
So J. Cole, of course, is the artist, but at the same time, he asked for Dreamville. He's also the CEO. I want to say he's actually the CEO, co-creator, and he has so many different hands in his music, or in his label, I'll say. Do you plan on focusing on one over the other, or is it kind of like you're just trying to dip in where you can?
I enjoy most being an artist, but I feel like things last. They have an expiration date. So it could be a time where maybe I'm in the game popping for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Backup plan. So having a record label, for example, look at Jay-Z. He's a mogul. He's seen as a mogul. So I could have that reign as an artist, and then there's other room for other artists to come up after me or whatever the case is. And but I still have that backup plan where I have my own record label, and I could sign other artists and make them come up too, and help other artists too.
I think any what I realized about any great artist that's pretty much followed that same path, like those are the ones that really make it. And I guess that's why would call them a great artist. And whether you talk about like you said, Jay-Z, J. Cole, Missy Elliott, Rick Ross, um, P Diddy tried it, but he kind of shitted on more people than he helped. It's like you have a lot of different versions of those about people who do that, and I think that those are the ones that last forever, and those are the ones that really have that lasting effect. Because artists that come into the game, in my opinion, that don't have an exit plan are the ones that are gonna get exited, like without anybody else's say, without their own say. They're gonna get xed out at some point in time because they never know when to stop. It's kind of like Bow Wow. You just never know when to stop.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I definitely commend you for that for sure. That's definitely important, and in my personal opinion. Um, so as I was doing some more digging on you, I came up on this Jekyll and Hyde tape, and yeah, like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, so I was listening to some tracks, and like, man, some of them just like they just completely jumped out to me. Like, the first one was Bruce Wayne. So that was the first track that I really bumped. And I don't really know what I mean I'm a Batman fan, of course, so I had to tap into it. But then I was like, yo, I really like it, and I really like that somebody just embodies some shit, but then flips it like, yo, this is just my real life. But you ain't, I ain't gonna say I'm Batman, but you ain't never see me and Batman in the same place. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that was a cool track. Code I really fucked with because I felt like I was picking up on what you were saying at first, and then I had to re-listen to it again, and I was like, "Yo," like, I feel like I really like when a track makes me when it makes me think. So I when you had said that earlier, I was like, "Yeah, she's true to her shit. She really likes to make people think." So like, how was it making that project? Because outside of it being titled Jekyll and Hyde, I mean, like, was it kind of like a Ti versus Tip type thing?
No.
Um,
Mhm. So basically, it was kind of to show my versatility. So if you listen to the whole tape, you can hear different ways I approach it. So basically, yeah, I'm a rapper. I could sing sorta, and I could do other things too, depending on.
for
And
sure.
basically, it was a mix of different things. I was kind of with some things too at the time, and those songs get through it. So it's just.
Well, I think your audio is breaking up just a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Like, you were going in and out. I want to make sure everybody heard everything you were saying.
Oh, I was saying, I was going through some things. Like I had just graduated from college and stuff. So those songs helped me get through it.
For sure.
I decided to just drop it on SoundCloud and AudioMac.
Okay. Okay. And were those songs like were they, I realize a lot of artists, they'll have songs that they've wrote like years before. Like, so like, did you write some of those songs at like the beginning of college, and that you didn't wait, you waited until all the way until after you graduated to release them?
Mm,
Or was it all kind of like in the now moment, this is what's
yeah,
going on?
yeah.
Okay, okay, that's what's up. I think that's a talent in its own, honestly. Because I can't imagine trying to tap into everything that I go through, like what's going on in my big ass head every single day, and try to like pull out this emotion and then this emotion and then this one and then that one and then like try to literally line them up to make songs. And I think that's the difference between a regular person and an artist really. um and I think I feel exactly where you're coming from on that song Lone Wolf. I listened to that one over and over, and I actually was even paying attention. I was like, a lot of people must have really liked that song because, like, as soon as I listened to it, I was like, damn, it got a hell of a lot of views to it. Like, because I immediately felt it, and I felt it in a sense of everybody's been there at some point in life. At some point, what I'm saying, everybody's been there where it's just like, you know. I'm here, I'm alone, but it's like I gotta do what the fuck I gotta do. It's the same with Don't Sleep on Me. I felt the same way with that track, and that one was very self-explanatory as well. So it seemed like you kind of like you sent yourself through a whole like emotional roller coaster on that project.
Exactly.
That's wow. That's crazy. Did you have any other like input? Like was it completely all you, producer, engineer, artist? Did you have any other input, on the tracks? Any co-writers, anything like that?
Nah, I wrote the whole thing, just me. Producers, there were different producers on that. I didn't produce any of the tracks on that.
Okay, got
Um,
you.
engineer, I engineered the whole thing.
That's what's up. Are you a self-taught engineer?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, those are the dopest kinds, honestly. Um, but not to shit on anybody that goes to school. I don't want to shit on anybody that goes to any type of school. Shout out to Full Sail and all that shit. But all I'm saying is, I really think that like the homegrown engineers, the self one, the self taught, um, that's how you had those unique sounds. I feel like the greatest producers. Which is another reason I was excited to talk to you because I love producer talk, and I really don't think that it happens enough. And I'm glad that you said everything you said as far as the producers are the ones that they don't get talked about the most, but they,
right.
what I'm saying, they the ones really making the bang. And it's like,
The,
oh damn, why does Pharrell never look like he ages? Because he get paid for the Botox. I'm just playing, but nah, but but he's living good because he's been rich forever. Because like I mean, Pharrell is one of the smartest producers, honestly, in my opinion. Like he doesn't put out a track that doesn't have his voice on it, and it's like so he automatically gets sometimes probably a little bit more credit than a regular producer in my mind. I
hmm
mean, could you explain that? Like, how does that work with producing? Like, if you were to release a track and it had your voice on it, but it's you're pretty much giving it to somebody else. Like, how does that work for you in the credit scheme?
Well, for me, I would sell the beat, and I would still get that percentage.
Got you, got so like a reoccurring after the fact.
Exactly. So when they get royalties, it breaks down whichever the producer, the engineer, etc., the writers. So I would be part of that percentage.
And you said the producer and the engineer the engineer pie is usually bigger than the artist.
Yeah. hmm
Is
Because
that is that like always the case, or is that just
it's
like sometimes?
always the case. It depends on how you approach it. So I know there are some producers that wouldn't charge for the beat, but they would get the percentage or
Okay,
the beat out for credit, I guess, or a shout out.
that makes
But
sense.
for me, it would be like you pay for the beat and then I still get the percentage on royalty.
So that would make sense for a producer. Like, say if Drake had came to you for a beat for a certified lover, but you might be like, you can have this motherfucker, but I want the percentage because I know the shit's gonna pop.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think that's definitely like I feel like being a producer is it's almost like being like I don't want to say like a mason, but in a sense it's kind of like because you're literally building something from the from nothing, and and being able to distribute out or to sell it. And any other enterprise or any other business you're in, you have to literally get it from somebody else. So you're buying something from somebody else, making them richer to try to make yourself rich. So like the fact that you can just kind of pull something out of the air, that's pretty dope. I mean, so when it comes to making beats, how do you get inspired? Do you usually hear something first? Is it kind of you wake up in the middle of the night like, oh shit, I'm hearing something, go put it down right now? How does that work for you?
No, it's different every single time. It depends on how I'm feeling for the day. If I go on it and maybe I just press like two melodies on the keyboard on the MIDI, and
Mm,
I'll be like, oh, that sounds fire. Let me continue off that.
okay, okay.
Every single time to explain it.
I'm sorry, what's up?
It's different every single time. I don't even know how to explain it.
I got you. I can understand that. I can understand that. And like, how is it? How does your making your music fit into like your everyday life? I mean, is making music your everyday life? Do you like have to like work around it or find time to do it? How does it kind of work out for you?
Well, I would say music is my everyday life. I can't go a day without at least listening to music.
Got you. What are those go tos like? If you wake up and you feel happy, what do you listen to? Like, what are some of the artists that you probably go to?
My go-tos,
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj.
Okay, okay. We got that type of okay. All right, all right. What about
Love Nicki.
what
Her
you
lyrics
love Nikki?
crazy.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I've talked a lot of shit about Nicki Minaj over the years, but honestly, one thing I can't take away from her is that she did what she did and she played her character to the T. Like every time that she was in some shit, I mean, she definitely did what she was doing, and I feel like there was definitely a point in time where you know, I ain't gonna get too deep into it. I ain't gonna get too deep into it. Just respect to her for sure. I think that she definitely has earned her place. Um, what about when you're sad?
When I'm sad,
Yeah.
um, I don't have a specific artist that I go to when I'm sad, but I do have a playlist that I made.
All
And
right.
like throwback kind of 2000s, late 90s kind of music, like the T-Pain kind of music.
Got you. Got you. That was a good era. Like that was a really good era of music.
Favorite era, actually.
Yeah. I feel like as long as we could like get rid of the fashion, we will be like part of the fashion. There were some things that were okay, and there were some things that I look back and I'd be like, yo, why were we wearing that? Like, why were we doing that? And it's like I'm short, so I had no business wearing a tall tee. No business at all wearing a tall tee. It was ridiculous. um, all right, all right. What about do you listen to anything when you're angry?
When I'm angry, Rico Nasty.
Rico Nasty. All right, all right. Does he chill you out or does he get you hype?
It gets me hype. She get me hype.
So like you wanna get more hype when you upset,
When I'm upset,
or
it's,
you just want to ride the wave,
the
pretty
thing
much.
is, like, it has to take a lot for me to get upset. So if I'm actually mad, Rico Nasty will remind me, like, I'm that bitch. Relax.
Okay, all right. I like that. I like that. I like that. Kind of like that putting you back in your position type shit. Adjust your crown type shit. All right, all right. I hear that. Yeah, I feel that because I'm like for me, I'm pretty. I guess I'm pretty similar. Like I don't really listen to super chill shit when I'm like really really in the mood upset. Like I'll probably listen to some shit like Problem or I'll put on like Ti or I'll put on or if I want to be like upset but I also want to educate a motherfucker, I'm gonna put on some Big Crit and like I'm gonna get like real like sophisticated but country with it. I mean it really just all depends. When I'm sad, like I don't know, I jump all over the place. Like I could land on Anita Baker. I can be over there with, Thelonious Monk. I could be floating over there with Jamiroquai. I could be up in space with Kid Cudi. It doesn't really just kind of depends on where I'm at. But yeah, I think that's really, dope to be overall eclectic with your musical taste. But but pretty much just to bring this all full circle, like what are some of the upcoming projects that you have coming? And more so like is it something that's been cooking, since the pandemic? I know a lot of artists been in kind of like the hyperbolic chamber and shit since we ain't been outside. Kind of got outside a little bit, probably about to be locked inside again. So yeah, like what you got coming up?
I'm working on an EP that I'm planning on dropping in December.
Okay, okay. It got a name yet, or you ain't dropping that yet?
It's called Soul Ties.
Soul ties. All right, all right. So what can we what kind of mood can we expect from this project?
More of a like a melodic rap mixed with contemporary R&B. So basically my sound, but more of like what I've been going through. I guess you could say like a seasonal kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
like cuffing season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good because I've been seeing a lot about like I mean cuffing season's been a thing since it's been a thing, but I've been seeing a lot of breakdowns of what this cuffing season actually means, and it's funny because I'm just on the outside looking in, and I'm just like, man, like live y'all's life, man. That's fucking awesome. But anyways, I'm definitely excited for that Soul Ties. So I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to see that in December. But yeah, with that being said, I really appreciate you coming on. Honestly, I really don't get the opportunity to interview many females. And as whether it be female hip hop, female R&B, contemporary, whatever the situation is, I don't really know. I don't know if I seem like creepy when I write y'all in the inbox like, "Hey, I want you on my show," but I'm gonna keep pressing at it. I appreciate you, saying you fucking with me for real. You've been cordial and professional since the beginning, so I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, please plug yourself in again. Let everybody know where they can find you and your music.
Nisha the Chef, NIHADA Chef. That's Nisha the Chef underscore on Instagram, Nisha the Chef on Twitter. I'm available on all music streaming platforms. And yeah, follow me, stream me, all that.
Word, word. I really appreciate everybody tapping in today. Once again, Nisha the Chef, thank you so much for coming on here today. This is Clue the Motherfucking Dime, Black Wall Music Podcast. If y'all been seeing on my Instagram, yes, I am changing the name of my podcast. But I'm gonna let y'all wait on that. It's gonna come out soon. But definitely appreciate you. This interview will be available. Is available now on YouTube, and in maybe about an hour will be available on all streaming podcast platforms. Thank y'all for tapping in.